S.H Figuarts Dragon Ball Super Jiren was released here in Japan on the 18th of January as a Bandai premium web exclusive. His retail price is about 7,000 yen, so roughly 65 or 60 US dollars before shipping. Is Jiren going to hit stateside? I'm not too sure, but it does seem like a lot of US-based online retailers have him or had him in stock. I think he's out of stock right now. You did have to pre-order the guy. And I think he is due for a February release. So 2020 is another year filled with a pretty impressive roster of characters from Tamashii. We've got Ultra Instinct Goku, possibly a Great Ape Vegeta just around the corner, just to name a few, but I think Jiren is definitely one of those A-list characters that a lot of collectors are very excited about. And I'll have to say, he certainly lives up to the hype. And I'll have to say, he certainly lives up to the hype. So for a relatively simple character in terms of design, Jiren is very well sculpted. I feel Tamashii got it pretty much perfect this time. That very distinct tapered V-line, Jiren's heroic muscular stature. They really did a fantastic job in recreating Jiren's look in figure form. Again, the sculpt work is excellent. The muscles are all very well sculpted, very well defined. The lines on his uniform are sculpted, as you can see here, and as you would expect from a premium figure. I'm glad they didn't just, paint on that black V on his spandex on his uniform. Speaking of paint, the torso is molded red plastic with dark grey, almost black paint, and his waist and legs are molded black plastic with red paint. It's hard to pick up on camera, but he does have the slightest shading around the red areas of his torso and his arms. It's almost like casting, some shadows on those muscles. It's enough to make it fit in with the rest of the line. It's subtle, but it's a nice touch and adds some dimension to the figure. The faces look great. You get 4 in total, and I think Tamashii covered most of Jiren's expressions. I really like that the heads have a matte finish. It's a nice contrast to the slightly shinier plastic that they used for the rest of the body. All the paintwork is sharp, very clean. You get the painted in details there on the eyes. You get the painted line there for the mouth. The ears are filled in with paint as well, and everything just looks spot on. Alright, so first off, the head articulation. Before I get into that, I just want to show you guys how the head actually goes on. Usually with most, I guess with all Figuarts, Dragon Ball figures, is that the ball joint goes into the socket, and the socket is actually attached to the head, but this time they've made the socket a part of the ball joint. You don't actually remove the socket, you remove the head off the socket, which makes it a ton easier to swap out the heads. And I'm glad they did that because you can also, you don't have to put it all the way in. This is what Jiren looks like with his head all the way down like so, but you can just kind of put it in halfway, and that gives him that extra bit of articulation going up and down as well. So it does give him a better range of motion overall in his head joint. Tilt, tilt. So really good articulation there. The ball joint that Jiren uses in his head and his neck is a dumbbell ball joint. The neck gives him that extra bit of movement as well. So just really good head motion going there. Onto Jiren's shoulders, he has some great butterfly joints going on there, which gives him some really good movement in his arms, as you can see, and it doesn't look awkward. They're really well sculpted, those shoulders, those butterfly joints. His arms move way past 90 degrees. It's a bit tight, but they do. 360 there at the shoulder. He has bicep swivel. double jointed elbows, which go way past 90 degrees. As you can see here, his elbows are sculpted in, which is nice. And he does have the typical hinges and swivels at the wrist as well. So his torso has that really good range of motion here for his torso. He does get some pretty good ab crunch going forward and going back as well, although you do get that gap in the middle there. But yeah, really good side to side movement here. You can get Jiren in some really dynamic poses because of this diaphragm joint here. He has a waist swivel, very squeaky, very tight, so do be careful with that. I don't think it's going to break or anything, but it is quite squeaky. Onto Jiren's legs, he does almost do the perfect side splits. Very good articulation there in his waist. He kicks forward about 90 degrees, but it does get in the way. His thigh there does get in the way. He doesn't kick back at all because of the way his butt is molded. Doesn't kick back. It's not really a problem. He does have some thigh swivel there. Pretty good thigh swivel actually. Double jointed knees. No boot cut, but he does have ankle swivel back and forth. He doesn't have the greatest motion going back. You can't actually point his feet down too much, but yeah, same can be said for going up. But he does have some pretty good toe articulation, and he does have, yeah, fairly decent ankle pivot there as well. So overall, a very well articulated figure. So Tamashii actually marketed this as a selling point for Jiren, and yes, I guess it is something worth mentioning as Jiren does come with a wealth of accessories. Again, you get 4 interchangeable heads, all very fantastically sculpted. Love the matte finish, love the details, and yeah, I think these 4 heads are, you know, pretty much all you'll need for a Jiren figure. Obviously, he does have a, you know, more aggressive, more angrier face when he's in his full power form, when he's in his last fight with Goku in the Tournament of Power. He has some really nice hands. He has 2-fisted hands, 2 types of open palm hands, some grabby hands, I guess, and 2 of these really expressive hands that I really like. You can use them for multiple situations, and a pair of, I guess, flexing hands, karate chop hands, whatever you want to call them, but they're also very well sculpted as well. In addition to all of this, you get this, which is basically the front piece of Goku's hair attached to Jiren's right hand. It's really easy to swap out as you would with Goku's headpiece when you're just swapping out, you know, the faces. I find it easy if you just swap out Jiren's hand first and then attach it to his wrist. The wrist peg isn't going to hold up the weight of the figure, so you have to use some kind of stand. It's a great little accessory, something I think that they can use in the future for, you know, much bigger characters, you know, beefier, stronger characters. Something they should have used, you know, for Broly for that matter. You also get his crossed arms, much like Vegeta and Piccolo and Vegito. And like those figures, you pop off the arms at the bicep. And I did this off camera because it's, you know, just too hard to do it on camera. It did take some time to get the peg holes into the pegs themselves, but you're just gonna have to find the right angle, and it should work. The last 2 accessories Jiren comes with are these energy effects, and we've all been complaining about the lack of energy effects with our, you know, Figuarts Dragon Ball figures. So these are definitely very much appreciated. Basically, it's one of Jiren's attacks molded in clear orange with some red highlights. It's kind of a flame effect, very cool, and it just slips over the hand, both on the left and the right hand. And of course, we also get a clear left fist. So I know with Super, the fan base is kind of divided, but whether you like Super or not, this is a very well executed figure with some of the best, smoothest articulation out of the entire line so far. And I guess, yeah, that is because of the design. You know, he basically is just, like I said, a humanoid, you know, a muscular humanoid, so there really isn't anything that's getting in the way of articulation. But he also has some great accessories, and just represents the character so well in figure form. Bottom line is, it checks all the boxes in terms of a premium action figure, everything that you would want in an action figure, at least for me anyway. Personally, Jiren isn't my favorite antagonist, but for all you Jiren fans out there, this is a must. You won't be disappointed. And I am looking forward to Figurize's rendition of this figure, the full power version of Jiren. So yeah, when that comes out, I'll definitely be doing a comparison between the two figures. Anyway guys, thank you so much for watching. As always, you are the best. First video of the year, it's kind of hard to get back into it after such a long break, but there will be more videos to come soon. Comparisons between Figuarts Goku Black and Demonical Fits Goku Black next week, so look forward to that. Manga anime heads for Goku 2.0 are still available, but I'm almost out of rose heads. So yeah, if you guys want to make an order, if you guys haven't made an order yet, details on how to do that in the description below. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed the video. Have a fantastic week, and I'll be seeing you all very, very soon. Yoroshiku!